Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Welcome in 100.7 The Score. I am Rob Breaux alongside Craig Wells, Lucas White. It's the End of the Bench. You can join us right here in the First United Bank studio on the Visual Edge IT hotline 806-771-0973, or hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. As you do so well, we'll have that open all day long. At noon, we'll flip it over to the bottom line, but we've got 3 hours with you. We'll talk mostly Texas Tech, BYU, probably. A little basketball sprinkled in there. Lady Raiders play again tonight at 5:30 airtime on 93.7 The Eagle. They'll be squared off with UTSA. Another basketball game tomorrow night. That's the men, also at home against Sam Houston. We'll have to see who's may or may not be playing in that one. I think more people are going to play in that one. We'll see. We've also got Red Raider football tonight with Joey McGuire, where he'll be talking a little bit about last week, but mostly about this week as well. It's the biggest game, I think, in both programs' histories because of the implications. Now, BYU was awarded a national championship in 1984. And so you might say, well, they have a national championship. How is this game bigger than any they played that year? Well, they beat a ranked team in week one as an unranked team on the road, Pitt. And they jumped to 13th in the country. And then they played a lot of bad teams to go undefeated in 1984. And then in a bowl game, they played 6-6 Michigan. Because back then, this is before really the BCS. BCS. I was confused on letters there. The BCS, where you didn't just choose the two teams. And even if you did, it wasn't going to be BYU.
Right. And you had conference ties to bowl games that
right.
you kind of were forced into a matchup.
So for BYU, they went undefeated and were awarded the national championship by the AP and several other publications. But their big game at the end of the year was 6-6 Michigan.
Yeah.
Now, they started 8-0 last year, had some big games, but the implication here for Texas Tech in 2008, let's say, that was a really big game against Texas. But the margins were so thin then that even if you win, you still have to win 3 more and a conference championship to get into a national championship game. Well, now, with the 12-team playoff, you win today, you win 2 more. You really don't have to be perfect if you win this game to be in a playoff. So this game is basically a play-in for the playoff for these two teams if you handle the regular season. It just feels to me in this era, with the uncertainty of conferences and otherwise, with the uncertainty of NIL and otherwise, in the moment in time we're in, this is the biggest game in Texas Tech history, and I might argue it's the biggest game in BYU history too.
That would be a good argument. I would say on equal footing, not anymore, but on equal footing, are the 76 game against Houston and the 2008 game. 2008, you are 3 games away for playing for the national championship.
Absolutely.
And now you're, 4 and maybe the fifth game would be the national championship game, because we've got 2 regular seasons left, and then you have the championship left, then you'd have the first round left, and then you'd have – so you're 6 games away.
Yeah.
Only because – and you should not compare how to get a national championship in 2008 to here or in 76. But as far as the importance of it, I definitely would not put it any more important than what we're going to have Saturday. But I think I would put it on equal footing.
Yeah, and my argument would not be that it was far and away the most important.
Yeah, I understand
but it's the next most important game for sure. And if you win this one, next week's the most important game in program history, and then the next week's the most important, and then the Big 12 championship. So you're not ending here, but in this moment in time, the opportunity in front of both of these schools to kind of get a stranglehold. BYU doing it for the second straight year, trying to jump past and be legitimate in this league. For Texas Tech, so long in the Big 12 and you haven't gotten it done. It's so important for Texas Tech to do it this year.
And the word you used to start off was implications. This year, under the system that we have now, you win Saturday and the path is in front of you. I mean, you can see it. In 2008, you kind of felt like you knew what had to happen, but you didn't know, because you didn't know what was going to happen where else in the country or anything. But in 76, you certainly didn't know.
Yeah.
But right now, you're in a position to take a step in that direction. I mean, you just now if you don't win, you're right back to where you were in 08. You think you got a shot at it, but you don't know. If you win, you've got a shot. I mean, absolutely, positively have a shot.
Here's another reason why I think this is the most important game in Texas Tech history. The perception of Texas Tech, the perception of Lubbock. In 2008, you had College Game Day here in Lubbock, and those guys still talk about it. But it's one thing for Stanford Steve 20 years later to be talking about it. If you could have an incredible showing with this fan base, with this community, with this city, with Pat McAfee in tow, and he's talking about it all week, and Josh Pate in tow, and he's talking about it the rest of the year, and all of these recruits in town that have 4s and 5s by their names, and all the other little, not little, but social media guys that will be here. There's a group called Snapback Sports that'll be here. It's just huge for the perception of Lubbock and the university. More after this.
Definitely not the starters. You're on the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score is the End of the Bench. Let's check the calendar here, Lucas.
Your daily look at what's happening in the world of sports, birthdays, and holidays. Let's check the calendar.
You familiar with the phrase 2 birds, 1 stone, Craig?
Uh-huh.
It is National Men Make Dinner Day, but it's also National Nacho Day.
So men are going to make nachos.
The men are going to make nachos tonight.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Man, a sheet pan nacho is pretty close to elite, man.
That's about the limit of my cooking right there.
Just stacking stuff. We can stack. It's also National Basketball Day. Seems like an odd day for it.
All right.
There's only one NBA game today.
On National Basketball Day?
Yeah.
They gave the day off.
They got the day off for it. It's National Saxophone Day.
Ooh.
In or out on the saxophone, Craig?
In.
Okay.
In.
Me too.
Let me throw a little something at you right there, too. Today is John Philip Sousa's birthday.
Okay. So we're going to do some marching?
Does that have anything to do with the saxophone day?
Maybe. I mean, they were saxophones in his bands.
Is the tuba considered a saxophone? I believe it is, isn't it?
No.
It's not?
No.
It's
kind of the opposite.
It's its own classification?
Well, it's a brass instrument, and saxophone's a woodwind.
No.
Wind instrument.
Really?
Yeah, because you play with a reed. There's the piece of wood at the top.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the tuba is a...
So clarinet and saxophone are both
wind instruments.
Wind instruments. Okay. Learn something today, folks.
There you go. You gotta have the embouchure in both, but one is for the brass mouthpiece.
Yeah,
and the
you're
other
getting
one.
technical. Now you're getting technical.
Any birthdays, Lucas?
Not many, but I do have a few. Lamar Odom, turning 46 years old today. Then we have Ethan Hawke, turning 55. Emma Stone, 37. Sam Reinhart, 30. And Pat Tillman would have celebrated a birthday today.
How old would he have been, you think? 50-something, probably?
Late 40s, probably.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably
Mid 40s.
Right. Yeah. In 1861, James Naismith was born. Thus, National Basketball Day, maybe, huh?
Gotta be it.
Yep. 1976, the Twins' ace pitcher Bill Campbell became the first free agent to sign with another team. Signed with the Red Sox, $1 million for 4 years. In 1991, Magic Johnson has a press conference. He is HIV positive and retires immediately. In 1995, Art Modell, owner of the Browns, announces the Browns are moving to Baltimore in 1995. Didn't stay long, but that's where they went. And it's kind of a President's Day. 1860, who was named president?
In 1860?
60, yeah.
What was it? President Lincoln?
That bingo. In 1984, he won his second term.
It's Reagan.
Right. If you get this one, you go into the head of the class. In 1888, he became the 23rd president and probably the most least known president.
I don't know, Garfield.
Benjamin Harrison.
Okay. Benjamin Harrison. I'm going to learn all these presidents because Collier and Craig have been quizzing me.
And FDR was elected to his fourth term.
Okay.
And kind of on a sad note, Steve McQueen died today in 1980.
What's your favorite Steve McQueen movie?
The Green Mustang. And what was the name of that movie? Where he's in the chase scene?
Yeah, he's driving the Green Mustang.
Yeah, and he's driving, and it's in San Francisco, and he goes up one of those hills and stays airborne for about 10 minutes on the movie anyway.
Was he in The Great Escape?
Yes.
That's probably my favorite.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nope.
That's it.
That's
I
it.
like The Blob. That was my favorite.
I wouldn't have pulled that one for
I
Steve
wouldn't have
McQueen.
either.
The Blob?
Good for you, buddy.
The Blob, huh?
True or false? Steve McQueen was in The Blob.
Yeah, that would not have been something I had in my bag.
Yep.
There's a lot of political.
Yeah. Well, it's, it's
first
week in November.
Election day or whatever.
Yep. And lots of Breeders' Cup history, too, but I felt like our audience was limited on their Breeders' Cup curiosity.
Certainly I would have been, yeah. Certainly I would have been. Pat Tillman born in 76. So you can do the math there.
Would have been 49.
49. That's pretty close to 50 in the high 40s.
He's really split the difference there between you. Did you catch any of the Raiderville happenings yesterday?
I did. I didn't ever see the names of the two appointed mayors, but I did see that there was two guys that were appointed mayor, or they were students. I don't know if they're both guys.
Yeah, they were doing some dueling to try and set up a Hayden Wigington concert.
Yeah. And I saw a tweet where he said, "How about some Hayden Wigington tomorrow night?"
Yeah, or some campfire songs
tonight. Tonight.
So that'd be cool. Now, I think they have to disband Raiderville by, 7 a.m. tomorrow.
I think that's correct.
So they get one more night out there, and then they're passing out wristbands.
Yeah, that's the way they've done it.
To a certain amount tomorrow morning.
Right.
Because you got to clear out for game day, obviously.
Right. No doubt. And what they've done in the past is they give out so many wristbands. Those with wristbands will get in 30 minutes prior to all the other students getting in, so they can get that done, and then they'll open it up to the regular student body. But
and I think they're going to have 10,000 dedicated student seats, and then maybe up to 12.
Yeah.
With the grass and whatnot.
Yeah. That's
those will be full.
Yes, no doubt. I mean, except for our rain out, I think every game we've had has been full student section-wise. I have a question for you, though, Rod, concerning Raiderville.
That last one, the Oklahoma State game, was full on the bottom, but not the top was not full.
And that question is, as a Raiderville participant, how much pizza do you think you could eat? Because every tweet I saw,
pizza and donuts.
Pizza was being delivered from every pizza joint in town.
I think maybe the real question here is I saw some glass bottles. And a couple of steel kegs going around.
Well, Joey went by and signed one keg. And then the kid went nuts. I said, that thing's been tapped. I can tell you right now.
Absolutely. There's lots of dogs out there. I saw Barrett Morton taking pictures with dogs.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see the players walk through Raiderville to practice. They're just going crazy.
The best one was Barrett Morton. He was imitating Joey McGuire going. He comes out and says, "Let's go!"
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then I saw Jacob Rodriguez still in his pads.
Yes,
playing, I guess probably NCAA against some students. So that was pretty awesome too.
It is awesome.
We need a final score on that game. See if Jacob Rodriguez showed no mercy.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Jacob Rodriguez. I put together some stats for his Heisman campaign. If you go to all the schools graded, there's 426 schools, I think, get graded on PFF. There's 824 linebackers in that selection. Do you know how many of those guys have a higher grade than Jacob Rodriguez?
I can't imagine many of them.
0.
Oh, that's not many.
824 have a lower grade than Jacob Rodriguez. More after this.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 100.7 The Score. It's the end of the bench. Lots of things going on today, according to the Twitter sphere. Snapback Sports is officially coming to Lubbock, which we already knew.
And Snapback Sports, for those that don't know.
So we're familiar with Snapback Sports, Craig's especially. But if anybody doesn't know who Snapback Sports is, they're just an internet. I don't really know what they are. I see them doing trivia, sports trivia. And they were at Big 12 Media Days So I would assume they have some kind of partnership with the Big 12. And I've seen them going to some Big 12 games this year. I don't know where they're based, but it's just another one of those social media, I don't know if I'd call them an empire, but they do a lot of trivia on social media and our personalities. And I would assume you'll have some clips and whatnot coming out with some Tech players. And
do they usually?
They're very excited about the fried cheese in town.
Okay. Do they usually go to Big 12 events or?
Well, they were at Big 12 Media Days, and then I guess really the only time I've seen them this year was when they went to BYU, Utah.
Okay.
But apparently they booked this trip in July.
Woo.
That's what Texas Tech said.
Yeah.
So they figured this one was going to be a big one.
Also,
this texture says, I don't know where Snapback is based out of, but they're all UT fans. Yeah, I know. What's the main guy's name? Are you familiar with him at all, Lucas? Is it Jack?
Yes.
Jack maybe went to Texas, or I guess if you're a UT fan, you probably went somewhere else. But hey-o. What were you going to say?
I don't know. What was I going to say? No, Josh Pate is.
Josh Pate is in town, or going to be in town.
Yep. I have kind of followed him a little bit.
He does good work.
Yep.
So he blew up last football season. I've seen him around for 3 or 4 years, but he really blew up last football season. And then this offseason, he joined On3 and is doing ESPN spots and is doing stuff with Bussin' with the Boys, which is Will Compton and Taylor Lewan. So he is everywhere this year, and he does a tour, I guess, of games in the fall as well.
Did he get a start recruiting as a recruiting guru?
No, I think he just did a podcast.
Okay.
And then it grew, and he grew his audience on YouTube. I don't know where he started. I don't know the Josh Pate lore.
Snapback Sports, located in New York City, New York.
Okay.
And that's their primary location, but they have other presence and connections to Austin, Texas, and the greater New York City area.
Okay. There's another trivia sports group called BDGE, Big Dogs Gotta Eat, I think is what it's called.
Good name.
And they got popular doing fantasy football. But I've seen those together. Those two groups.
Of course, you've got game day. And more importantly, Peter the dog will show up.
Peter will be here, yeah. And I'm intrigued. So it looks like they're opening up the stadium at like 5:30 a.m.
Okay.
The stadium gates, which that seems crazy to me.
Yeah.
Maybe they're opening up because they're doing the first 2 hours of game day down in the green space, right?
First 2 hours, aren't they?
And then they're moving inside.
Yeah. Curious to know where they're going to be inside. They've already, I'll guarantee you, they know exactly where they're going to be. Yeah.
In front of the students.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yep.
This section says, Pate is awesome. He has no network or conference bias, which makes him an analyst that's trustworthy. Yeah, he's with On3, so he's not with ESPN or Big Ten Fox. But I will say he does a lot of SEC stuff. But, if you're good, they'll have you.
Yep.
So
I did see a tweet, an X or whatever, comment by Josh Pate where he is kind of bullish on Texas Tech.
yeah, He is. Well, and he talked about him a lot this offseason.
Yeah.
With what's going on. And I just, with Texas Tech and everything else, I'm going to take a phone call. Do you have some lines for the weekend or whatever else we can get into?
Yeah, definitely. Let's go. Let's talk about BYU for a second. We have LJ Martin is trying to play, right? So there's been reports, sources say that LJ Martin is going to try to play. His rushing yards total for the game the line is set at 68.5. I know he hasn't played in a few games, but he's leading the Big 12 in rushing yards.
Yeah. And he's not a scat back. He is not somebody that gobbles up to 30 or 40 yards at a time. He's tackle to tackle, and he'll if he's at full speed, he'll have 25 or 30 carries a game, and probably average four or less, right at 4 yards per carry.
His last full game was versus Utah on October the 18th, where he had 26 carries on 122 yards. The week before that, at Arizona, he had 25 carries for 162 yards. I believe, honestly, this line is so low is because they don't know how many carries LJ's going to get, how many yards, and because it's first game back in quite a while.
Yep.
So,
and usually, and you know better than I, don't you usually get about 3 points for being the home team? 2.5, 3, something like that.
Yeah.
So theoretically, they're saying it could be a 1 touchdown spread.
Yeah, it can go either way for sure.
Something else, Lucas, that kind of interesting. We've got a Friday night game this week, Houston and UCF. And that's at UCF. And Rob and I were talking earlier, UCF could be pretty tough at home. And being the prime game on a Friday night, and Houston's got a rebound from their home loss that they had. So I don't know. I don't know who would be the favorite in that one.
They got Houston minus 3.5. Total point spread is 47.5. And this is interesting to me. Connor Wegman, his passing yards and rushing yards combined is at 244.5.
Golly.
So separately, his rushing yards is at 40.5, and his passing yards is at 209.5. So
UCF has a good defense.
That's what I'm saying. Is that seems a little higher than average, but I mean.
Yeah.
This is Houston's
and he is
right game.
Definitely a running quarterback, a dual threat, but he's running a lot of its scramble yards.
Yeah, what's available.
Yeah. I mean,
which he's been decent with.
Yeah.
Beyond the Texas Tech game.
Yep. But full schedule: Colorado, West Virginia, BYU, Tech, Kansas, Arizona, Iowa State, TCU, all on Saturday. And I dare say, except for Arizona, Kansas, and Colorado, West Virginia, that Iowa State, TCU needs to win.
TCU needs to win. These games are interesting in the context of the Big 12.
Yep.
But not a lot of national interest beyond
no.
BYU, Texas Tech this weekend.
And Arizona, Kansas, who cares?
Yeah. Hour number 3. That's a pretty good way to say it.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. 30 minutes remain. We were talking about the Utah flow chart earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do some dreaming here.
Okay.
So this is for Utah to be in the Big 12 championship. So what does it take for Texas Tech to play Utah? Let's just go for that and see what might need to happen. So it starts with, did Utah win out? And we're saying yes. Utah finishes with bye this week, and then Baylor at Baylor.
So they beat Baylor.
Kansas State at home.
Beat Kansas State.
At Kansas.
And they beat Kansas. Baylor, Kansas State, and Kansas. 3 victories for Utah.
So then you go to, did Texas Tech win out?
Okay.
We're going to go yes on that one as well. Texas Tech finishes with BYU, UCF, both at home, a bye, and West Virginia on the road. Then you go to, did BYU lose a second game? If it's no, that's Texas Tech BYU. If it's yes, then you go to was it to Cincinnati? If you say no, if BYU lost to a TCU or someone else, then you'd go to did Cincinnati lose 2 more games, and that would be Texas Tech versus Cincinnati.
And these are all scenarios for Utah to get in to the Big 12 championship game.
If you say yes, Cincinnati lost more than 2 games, then you would go to Arizona State went out. If you say yes, then you would go to did TCU win out? If TCU wins out and Cincinnati has 2 losses, they're all tied. Utah would have the tiebreaker if TCU, Arizona State, and Cincinnati all have 2 losses or more. And Arizona State would have the tiebreaker if TCU does not win out. Somehow. But there's also a ton of situations where did Houston win out? Did Arizona State win out? Did Arizona State lose? And a lot of them have Texas Tech, Utah in the mix. But most of this chart, obviously if Texas Tech wins out, is Texas Tech versus Utah, Texas Tech versus BYU. Texas Tech versus Cincinnati is still a possible. Texas Tech versus Arizona State is still a possibility. BYU versus Utah is still a possibility. BYU and Cincinnati is still a possibility. BYU, Utah, there's a scenario that those 2 teams get into the Big 12 championship game against each other. You could, if you're Texas Tech, lose a game and still play Texas Tech versus BYU.
Tech over BYU, who does that help the most?
Tech.
Other than Tech. I would think Cincinnati, probably.
Yeah, well, Cincinnati and Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's because of Utah's finish and Cincinnati's finish, Utah doesn't play anyone else that's in the mix.
Right.
So if BYU has a loss, it immensely helps Utah to get back in the mix.
Utah kept their hopes alive by beating Cincinnati.
By beating BYU and Cincinnati.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did well, they lost to BYU,
Yeah.
but by beating Cincinnati. Yeah.
By beating Cincinnati, and everybody else got a little reprieve because that gave Cincinnati their first loss.
Yeah. Yeah, that was big for Texas Tech as well.
Yep. That's unbelievable how many scenarios, and that somebody took the time to figure all that out, because that's not – I mean, you've got to – I don't know if AI could do that or not, but –
there is a website where you can go and plug in a bunch of –
Really?
You can complete the schedule.
Mm.
And it spits out all the tiebreakers.
What 2 teams, in your opinion, have to be in the championship game for the Big 12 to get 2 in the college football playoff?
I think if Texas Tech wins this weekend and BYU wins out and Texas Tech wins out, I don't know that the Big 12 championship matters for the playoff. Okay. I think both of those teams are in the playoff.
So they're playing for seeding, basically.
Yeah. And I think the winner would be a top 4 potentially, if not the 5.
Okay.
And the winner would host.
Okay. Question.
Uh-huh.
Would you rather host or be a top 4?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Personally, selfishly, I want to host because I want to be at that game. I want to be in the press box for that. I want to be in the pregame. I want to do the postgame at the Overton for that kind of atmosphere.
I will tell you, Rob, that there are football coaches that would say we would rather play our way to the national championship game than have a bye.
I think this year you just want to play and you want to keep getting people to Lubbock.
Yep.
I think the momentum you're building, especially if you have success this week, it all hinges on this game. I keep saying it, but it's just so true. If you have the success now, this weekend, and you could parlay that into the Big 12 championship, and then if you're a Big 12 champion, and then you can parlay that into hosting a Big 12 game, especially, look, if Oregon comes to town and it's the 8-9, or if who else comes to town, if it's Notre Dame, or any of those other, name brand opponents, that's going to be awesome.
If it's a Big Ten or an SEC team,
sure,
good for Tech. I mean, that's great for Lubbock and Texas Tech.
But even if it's North Texas or Memphis or Tulane,
it is the college football playoff.
Yeah, it's the college football playoff, and if it's Memphis, I don't know, you'll be a big favorite. I think you might be a big favorite against a lot of teams, but you'd be a legitimate favorite, and then you could win a playoff game at home. And I think you could beat a lot of these teams that you're going to be matched up with, especially if you take care of business this weekend. I would feel really confident. But it feels to me that you already have the late bye heading into the West Virginia game. If you had a bye 4 weeks ago or last week or 2 weeks ago, and then you were playing 5 or 6 games and then winning a Big 12 championship and you're all banged up, then it's like, oh, yeah, I'd rather have the bye. Yeah. But you already have a late. You don't need another one.
Yeah.
Right? Theoretically.
Yeah.
So I would just as soon play and host.
Yeah. A lot of logic to that.
And I think, in your third or fourth playoff, let's go for the bye.
Yeah.
Hey, we've been here. We've done that.
Yeah.
Your first one? Your first ever playoff game's at home?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just incredible.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to be upset if you're a top 4 seed. I think that's just dreaming at that point. But, in some respects, the things you're doing this year are going to pay dividends in the next 5.
Yeah.
Nationally, respect-wise, perception-wise. More after this. Ask the Benchwarmers on the other side.
Playing time is not required. This is the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back. Time for Ask the Benchwarmers. It is the end of the bench. This texter says, has the quarterback been sacked or hurried a lot? This in response to Bear Bachmeier. No. Actually, very little. They're not a team that sits back in the pocket, generally. They're a quick offense. They don't put him in a lot of positions to need to do any of that. They've also had leads or haven't been down by a ton. Now, they were down by 10 to Arizona with just a couple of minutes left and came back. They got in position for a field goal, got the ball back, then drove down and scored a touchdown. But it seems like in crunch time, it's just Bear Bachmeier throwing slants and running. And it doesn't feel like he is a guy that bails early, but this isn't an offense that has 3 or 4 reads. I mean, his second or third read is to run. Now, he is a guy that keeps his eyes down the field, but Avery Johnson and Kansas State were a team that did not take a lot of sacks. And BYU is similar in that regard. The sack percentage of dropbacks for Kansas State is 10th in the country. BYU is 24th with 3.92% of total dropbacks. Now, there haven't been a ton of dropbacks, so that's why you look at the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But the sacks per game given up for BYU is 17th in the country at just over 1 per game. So he's been sacked 9 times, I think. Or their quarterbacks have been.
And that tells you can expect a lot of rollouts.
They have a good offensive line.
Yeah. He's
a guy that can, and if it's close to the line of scrimmage, he's a guy that can fall forward.
Yeah.
Past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
He's slippery for how big he is.
Yep. And he's pretty strong.
He's a strong kid.
Pretty strong for a quarterback,
and
especially.
He's a true freshman.
Yep.
But he's impressive, and athletically he's been impressive, but just mentally he's been impressive.
One thing that I'm kind of impressed with too, that I think he has in his back pocket as far as I'm concerned, is he won the quarterback position in competition.
And with weeks to preparation.
Yeah. Yes.
Because he and David Bailey were at Stanford this spring.
Right.
And David Bailey got to Texas Tech in the spring and practiced with them.
Because of the quarter system.
I don't know that Bear Bachmeier.
I don't think he did.
Got to BYU and practiced in spring ball.
I don't think he did. And they had legitimate quarterback to give him competition.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I mean, he's not great, but
Retzlaff wasn't there, but it was.
That's right.
It was another guy who had starts at Utah State and had come in, and then another, well-received recruit that had been there.
But that's why. I mean, Retzlaff is the reason that there was competition. Him leaving.
Yeah.
And I just. I don't know.
Going in, it wasn't like we were like, wow, BYU, whoever wins that BYU job's going to be good, because there's a lot of good competition.
That's right.
It was, wow, they're going to have to keep it on the tracks. But BYU does not ask their quarterback to be amazing. It's not like the Kansas offense where Jalen Daniels has to, do everything and make a bunch of throws. Now, he is asked to do a lot, Bear Bachmeier, and he does a lot, but it's in the course of the offense, and they have a defense that's out there making stops. So generally, BYU can go score 24 and be in a game. Can they do that this week? Can you put pressure offensively and score 21 in the first half and make BYU get out of their game a little bit and start taking some shots? You've been so good defensively getting turnovers because you've been up in games, and teams are trying to do more than they need to do or have to do to try and get back into
and change how they're doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
I think the thing that surprised everybody that didn't know him was the fact that BYU was going to be starting a true freshman. And he had his first opportunity at a big game when they played Utah. Didn't play great, didn't play bad. Just like you said, he was very manageable. Didn't give them a bunch of turnovers or anything. I just think, and I'll give Utah a credit, they've got a pretty good defense, but I just don't think it's the caliber of Texas Tech. And I don't think that not only do we have a good defense player-wise, Shield Wood has just done a tremendous job of putting our players in positions to be successful. I mean, we've had some coverage sacks. We've had speed rush sacks. We've had people coming up the middle. And, you know, when you miss Skylar Gale Howard to stop the run, you know, here comes A.J. Mahomes. And,
yeah.
And you know, we still have been able to maintain our position in stopping the run.
You know, you've blitzed more in the last couple of weeks. It seems like you weren't blitzing at all really early. You didn't need to. I'm intrigued to see if you don't blitz against BYU and you just kind of play base and see what Bear Bachmeier can do, or if you just blitz the heck out of him and try to get him to run and
yep.
say, we're not going to let you do anything else. We're going to stop the run. We're going to stop you and Martin. And if you do get one over the top, that's, you know, congrats to you.
And, you know, if we get the rush that we have been getting, if we get linebackers blitzing on the end, that's going to stop that rollout run, you know. And if everybody, and I think I've heard Shield Wood say it, Coach Wood say it several times, if they stop the middle and then they stay in their lanes, it's going to be difficult for them. It will be difficult.
They talk about rush integrity quite a bit. You know, Bear Bachmeier has not looked like a freshman much yet. I would love to see him look like a freshman on Saturday because of this defense.
Yep, I agree.
To throw some bad interceptions or to make some boneheaded decision with the pressure. And he's not been forced to do that much. But there have been games. There's a game where he throws 2 interceptions. That Arizona game, Arizona confounded him pretty good.
Yep.
I thought Arizona had a really good game plan. And if you stop him on that last drive, you win.
Yep. Without making you research something, since we're at the end of the show, pass or run most scores against BYU? Are people passing against them to score or running against them?
It's a great question. We can answer that for sure tomorrow. But they're pretty good against both.
Yep.
They're not giving up a bunch of points, period.
Right.
Now, they're not like Texas Tech giving up 14. I think they're giving up about 20 points a game.
And they're scoring about 20 points a game, isn't that right? 24, something like that?
Yeah, conference only.
Yeah.
If you're going conference only, BYU is at 32 a game.
Okay.
And they're allowing 24 a game. You're scoring 36 and allowing 14.
That's the difference.
More after this, but it's the bottom line. With Choice Woodman and Matt Estison.
This has been the End of the Bench podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 107thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.